You ever notice how the fancy cars we drooled over in 2009 are now cheap enough to buy, but terrifying enough to avoid? Here's the twist. Mechanics secretly love driving a handful of these 15-year-old luxury sleepers. So if you want comfort, power, and that I paid way less than you think vibe without inheriting a money pit, stick with me, because this list might change what you shop for next. If you want a luxury car that still feels grown up but won't drain your savings account on day one, the 2010 Mercedes-Benz E-Class is the real mechanic-approved gem. It hits that rare point where the design still looks mature, the ride feels expensive, and the long-term behavior is far less dramatic than the internet makes it seem. The ideal buyer is someone who drives a lot, appreciates quiet refinement, and wants a cabin that instantly raises your mood the moment you close the solid, heavy German door. Under the hood, the E350 carries a smooth V6 with roughly 280 horsepower, paired with a 7-speed automatic that prefers calm, confident shifts. Fuel economy sits in the acceptable for a luxury sedan category. Nothing heroic, nothing disastrous. Behind the wheel, the E-Class delivers that old-school Mercedes sensation of weight and stability. It doesn't float like the older models, but it also avoids the stiff, sporty trend that came later. The seats are the real magic. Wide, supportive, and perfect for long drives where podcasts are your only company. Pros: fantastic cabin durability, interior materials that age slower than its rivals, and electronics that finally got their act together compared to the early 2000s models. Mechanics appreciate that routine service is straightforward and parts are widely available without shocking prices. Cons: models equipped with airmatic suspension can eventually need air struts or a compressor, and while these issues aren't guaranteed, they're expensive enough to deserve attention during inspection. Light oil seepage from valve covers and aging engine mounts are also common, but manageable if caught early. When checking one in person, look for clunks in the front suspension, inspect tire wear for signs of poor alignment, confirm that the 7-speed shifts smoothly under gentle throttle, and ask for proof that transmission fluid was changed at reasonable intervals. Many owners skip it, but it matters. Recommended years: 2010 through 2012 are the sweet spot for reliability and refinement. Market prices today typically fall between $12,000 and $18,000, depending on mileage, region, and maintenance history. And if you think this Mercedes is the king of mature luxury bargains, wait until you meet the next car, the quiet Scandinavian sleeper that mechanics genuinely love to keep for themselves. The 2010 Volvo S80 is the kind of luxury sedan mechanics secretly hope you never discover, because once you drive one, you start wondering why everyone else keeps chasing trendier badges. This thing is the definition of grown-up comfort. It's built for people who want calm, who drive long distances without rushing, and who prefer a cabin that feels like a Scandinavian living room instead of a spaceship full of blinking lights. Under the hood, most models use a silky inline-six making roughly 230 to 260 horsepower, paired with a 6-speed automatic that prioritizes smoothness over sport. Fuel economy sits solidly in the honest but not miraculous range, which is exactly what you'd expect from a big, safe Volvo. What makes mechanics like the S80 isn't flash, it's consistency. Volvo engineered this generation to survive real life. Potholes, road trips, temperature swings, and owners who just want their car to start every morning without drama. The seats are legendary, arguably the most comfortable in the entire luxury segment at the time. The interior design is clean, thoughtful, and still looks modern today because it never tried to be futuristic. On the road, the car glides more than it drives. The suspension absorbs everything without feeling mushy, and the cabin remains whisper quiet even at highway speeds, which makes long commutes feel surprisingly relaxing. Pros: excellent reliability for its class, well-priced replacement parts, superb safety ratings, and a driving experience that doesn't age. Cons: with higher mileage, expect some rear suspension bushings to get tired, and the electronic throttle body can occasionally cause hesitation if neglected. The transmission also appreciates regular fluid changes. Even though Volvo originally called it lifetime, mechanics will tell you lifetime means until it fails, and they're not wrong. When inspecting an S80, check for vibration at low speeds, listen for rear clunks, confirm smooth shifting under light throttle, and make sure the service records are consistent, especially regarding coolant, transmission fluid, and spark plugs. The best years of this generation are typically 2010 through 2012, thanks to incremental updates and strong drivetrain reliability. Current market prices usually sit between $8,000 and $14,000, depending on mileage, condition, and region. Remarkably fair for a sedan this comfortable and this safe. And if you think Volvo nailed the formula for quiet luxury, wait until you see the next car, because the Lexus coming up is the one mechanics call the trouble-free executive. Quick break, grab your phone, hit subscribe, and tell me which city you're watching from. Now, back to the cars. If you've ever wondered which 15-year-old luxury sedan mechanics would daily drive without blinking, the 2010 Lexus GS sits right near the top of that list. This thing is the definition of quiet confidence. No drama, no weird electrical surprises, no complicated German suspension waiting to send you a four-figure bill. The ideal buyer is someone who wants real luxury, genuinely low stress, and a car that still feels tight and refined even after well over 100,000 miles. Under the hood, most GS models run either the V6, making around 290 horsepower, or the bigger V8 with roughly 340 horsepower, both paired to a smooth 6-speed automatic. Fuel economy isn't hybrid level, but for a mid-size luxury sedan with real power, it stays comfortably in the reasonable zone. Driving the GS feels like stepping into that friend's house where everything is clean, calm, and somehow always works. The suspension is firm enough to feel controlled, but soft enough for everyday comfort. Cabin quality is excellent. No creaks, no peeling buttons, no cheap plastic in places where your hands actually touch. Lexus kept the design mature and understated, which is probably why it aged better than some of its louder rivals. And reliability? It's Lexus. Mechanics almost get bored with how little this car misbehaves. But no car is flawless. The GS does have a few predictable quirks. Front lower control arm bushings can wear over time, the Mark Levinson sound system amps occasionally fail, and the power steering pump can seep a bit as mileage climbs. None of these are catastrophic, and all are fixable without blowing up your budget. When inspecting one, listen for suspension thumps over low-speed bumps. Check the infotainment screen for any fading. Make sure the transmission engages quickly when shifting from park to drive, and look for maintenance records showing coolant, differential fluid, and spark plug services done on schedule. The sweet spot for this generation runs from 2010 to 2011, though any well-maintained example is a safe bet. Current market prices usually sit between $11,000 and $16,000, depending on mileage and how well the interior was cared for. For a luxury sedan that behaves like a calm, capable adult every single day, that's a bargain. And if you think the GS is the king of low-drama luxury, wait until you meet the next one, a surprisingly refined American contender that mechanics secretly enjoy more than they admit. The 2010 Lincoln MKZ is one of those cars mechanics quietly appreciate, because it delivers luxury without the complications that usually come with luxury badges. It's the grown-up fusion, but with enough refinement, comfort, and old-school American smoothness to make it feel like a genuine premium sedan. The ideal buyer is someone who wants reliability first, comfort second, and a car that doesn't need to impress anyone except the person actually driving it. Under the hood, the MKZ runs a dependable V6, making right around 263 horsepower, paired with a 6-speed automatic that's been proven for years. Fuel economy is solid for a mid-size luxury sedan, especially in long highway stretches where this car settles into a quiet, relaxed rhythm. Driving the MKZ feels familiar in the best way. It's not trying to be sporty or overly European, it just wants to be comfortable. The seats are wide, supportive, and perfect for people who value space. Cabin materials hold up well for a 15-year-old American sedan, and the tech, while dated by today's standards, still does everything you actually need without freezing, glitching, or requiring a software update every month. On the road, it delivers a confident, predictable ride that feels planted over rough surfaces and surprisingly quiet at speed. Mechanically, the MKZ earns respect for being straightforward. Routine maintenance is simple, parts are affordable, and the powertrain has a strong reputation for long-term durability. But naturally, there are a few things to watch for. The water pump on the V6 can eventually fail, and because of its design, it's not the cheapest repair. Front strut mounts may develop light clunks with age, and early wear on rear brake hardware can show up if the previous owner wasn't careful. Still, none of these issues are deal breakers. They're just the usual checkpoints for a car at this age. When inspecting one, pay attention to cold start noises, confirm the automatic transmission shifts cleanly under gentle throttle, check for a firm brake pedal, and scan the cabin for any malfunctioning buttons or fading display screens. Also make sure the previous owner kept up with coolant and transmission fluid changes. These two items alone greatly extend the MKZ's lifespan. Recommended years? 2010 and 2011 are the sweet spot, with Ford refining several small components and improving overall cabin quietness. Market prices today usually fall between $6,000 and $10,000 depending on mileage and care, making it one of the most accessible luxury sedans that still feels genuinely premium behind the wheel. And if you think the American option is calm and reliable, wait until you see the next car, a hybrid Lexus that mechanics consider one of the smartest overlooked buys on the market. The 2010 Lexus HS is the luxury hybrid that most people forgot existed, but mechanics didn't. They know exactly why this car earns quiet respect. It blends Lexus dependability with Toyota Prius-level efficiency, wrapped in a cabin that still feels upscale 15 years later. The ideal buyer is someone who wants a calm, smooth, low-cost, daily driver that doesn't scream for attention. It's perfect for long commutes, city traffic, or anyone trying to keep ownership costs predictable without giving up comfort. Under the hood, the HS pairs a 2.4-liter four-cylinder engine with an electric motor for a combined output of around 187 horsepower, sent through a continuously variable transmission. Fuel economy sits solidly in the mid-40s miles per gallon, which was impressive for a luxury sedan of its time. Driving the HS feels like sliding into a peaceful bubble. Acceleration is smooth, steering is gentle, and the cabin isolates you from chaos outside. The seats are comfortable enough for multi-hour drives, and the interior layout follows Lexus logic: simple, clean, reliable. The hybrid system is the real star. It's nearly bulletproof, sharing much of its technology with Toyota's famously durable hybrid lineup. Many mechanics say the HS is one of the easiest luxury hybrids to live with because the components age slowly and predictably. That said, there are a few quirks worth noting. The inverter coolant pump can fail after many years, though replacements aren't outrageous. Some owners report wear on the front suspension bushings around high mileage, and the early infotainment screens occasionally develop touch sensitivity issues. None of these problems are particularly scary, especially when compared to the headaches of similar-year German hybrids. When inspecting an HS, check for smooth transitions between gas and electric power, verify the hybrid battery charges and discharges normally, listen for suspension clunks at low speeds, and confirm all cabin electronics respond quickly. The best years are typically 2010 and 2011, since they benefited from early production fixes and strong build consistency. Market prices today usually run between $7,000 and $11,000 depending on mileage and battery condition, a solid deal for a luxury hybrid that can realistically last another decade with basic care. And that wraps up our list of 15-year-old luxury gems that mechanics secretly love to drive. We started with comfort, crossed through reliability, and ended with hybrids that age like granite. If you want power without the pain, style without the stress, and value that actually makes sense in this market, these cars deliver exactly what the intro promised. So if you're shopping for a grown-up ride that won't punish your wallet, you've now got the shortlist mechanics would hand to their own friends. Before you jump to the next video, make sure you're subscribed, because we've got more real-world picks coming, and they'll save you money, miles, and a lot of headaches. And hey, your next car might already be in the next video. Go check it out.